The dearth. Merriam-Webster defines it as a scarcity or an inadequate supply. The term dearth has been used since the late 13th century, most often used in a time of famine, during a bad crop harvest. In the world of beekeeping, though, it's a nod to the lack of resources for the honeybee. Nectar becomes scarce, pollen becomes hard to find, and the drought during that period hits particularly hard during the summer months, all of which drastically affects the ability of a bee colony to thrive. You never know when the dearth will hit. The only thing you can do is prepare and supplement the colony with what it needs. In this case, a batch of simple syrup for the bees should do the trick. It's made from a 1-to-1 mixture of pure sugar and water. Do you have to weigh it out? No, but it's helpful for beginners like me. I bought 10 pounds of sugar, and I now know the appropriate weights of sugar and water to achieve that perfect 1-to-1 ratio. My beekeeping buddies feed their colonies with internal frame feeders. I decided not to, mostly because I'm cheap, and I didn't want to spend the extra cash, but I did want to see what my colonies were capable of, and I just wanted to let nature do what it does best. I assumed this year would be a wash as far as honey goes for myself, just 2 to the size of the swarms I caught. But when I finally went out there to inspect those colonies, it had been 3 weeks since my last inspection. I would soon learn that the dearth, in fact, is a real thing, and a big, big problem. My colonies weren't doing that great, as you will soon see during my inspection, which is why I'm elbow deep in sticky shirt mixture currently. It's just something I have to do. It's not something I want to do, but apparently it's something I had to do. Kind of like, I probably should have used a funnel right there, but I don't have one. It's something I need to get because, as you can see, I lost like a pint of sugar right there, and it's just not cheap. It's an expensive adventure, as I'm beginning to find out. Here I thought I could just put some bees out there and let them do their thing and reap their rewards. Well, that's just not how nature works, and if you've spent any time outdoors, you will know that nature will teach you a thing or two. Thankfully, I was smart enough to save some growlers from my early 20s to store that sugar in. I probably could have filled that quart mason jar up had I not spilled half of it down the sink, but I was able to store it pretty well in all these growlers and able to take it to the field, as you will see, because my honeybees, they needed that sugar, because as you'll soon find out, they weren't working all that well. The following morning, I was real eager to get into those hives. The sugar had cooled down and was sealed properly in those growlers, and I knew that they would last quite a bit longer, but I didn't know how much that syrup them bees were going to eat. I had to take a deep dive into these hives. I had to know what was going on inside them. Well, that's not off to a good start. You put frames in 3 weeks ago and you pull them out like that and they're bare. No comb drawn out, no nothing. I thought here I was going to be putting on the second deep box to get these bees ready for the fall and the winter times, but as you can see here, they just haven't been working. The dearth had hit pretty darn hard, and I let 3 weeks go by and had no clue. Now this was the center frame, so I anticipated, well, I don't know, but not that. it was pretty bad. As you can see, there's like maybe 12 brood capped right there, and on the other side, maybe 10. But that one wasn't too bad. There was a lot of brood in there, but as you can see, them bees were mad, and I mean mad. I mean, it is the Dearth after all, and they are going to protect that colony with everything they have. That frame, not too bad. There's 2 dozen on that side and 2 more dozen on the other side, but overall, that's pretty poor. I mean, keep in mind, this is the second swarm that I caught, and I did catch it late. But I really thought that they'd have all these frames drawn out. I mean, it had been 3 weeks, and they didn't draw out anything, which tells me the Dearth could have potentially hit 3 weeks ago, and I hadn't even known it. The anticipation of opening up that double deep was high. I really thought they were going to have stuff drawn out, so I went right for that center frame. What do you got in there? Absolutely nothing. That's what you got. In this next frame, more of the same. Nothing. I would go on to check every frame in that box, just in the centers. Nothing. They hadn't drawn out one single frame. The Dearth, my friends, is real. As you can imagine, my frustration was sky high right now. And I was just so unsure what was going on. The world of beekeeping is starting to weigh on me.
Well, that's pretty disappointing, obviously. I haven't been in that hive. I haven't been in that hive in 3 weeks, either hive, and I anticipated at least the smaller colony to have filled out those last remaining 3 frames in 3 weeks. And I don't know if it was the Dearth, I don't know what it was, but they haven't done anything, and there's very little brood. I don't even know, I can't find queens. I struggle with that. I didn't see her. She could be dead, she could be gone. I mean, there's not very many brood. I'm talking less than probably 80 to 100 in that small one. No frames filled, no wax built out, no nothing. So that worries me big time on that second colony that I caught. However, this first double stack colony, I put that second deep on 3 weeks ago. And they haven't touched one frame in that second top box, which worries me big time. Big time. I'm very surprised about this. I don't even know what to say. I can't find the queen in that one either. But like I say, I'm terrible at finding queens. I have them marked. I can't find them to mark them. So I'm gonna have to get somebody out here that knows more what they're doing and what they're looking at. But not really good news whatsoever. Definitely will not get an ounce of honey. Definitely, man, I don't know. I'm frustrated by this beginner beekeeper stuff.
You know, every half-decent beekeeper needs a mentor of sorts, and my buddies Jeremy, Trent, Jason, you know, we all have a thread and we talk, and after speaking with those guys, they, you know, talked me back off the ledge and told me, just get out there and feed them. Get out there and feed them. It could take care of all your problems. So that's just what I did. Instead of storing that syrup, I walked it out there and fed them. Now, I may have crushed a couple bees right there, and as you can see, boom, they got mad. And I mean mad. I mean, they chased me out for like 100 yards mad. I don't recommend feeding them without a suit on, that's for sure. So here's just where I gotta step back and be patient. And for a guy like me, that ain't easy. I'm just gonna have to monitor how much they feed, keep replenishing their syrup, and monitor them. So I guess this is the part where we're just gonna learn together.